common impairment in recovering a shoulder to its full movement health is a weakened serratus anterior, which often supports pulling away of the scapula from the body, or what's called a winging. And that winging in itself is a mechanical limitation to the shoulder girdle. Muscles work in sync with each other, and if the scapula is in a compromised position, then it's going to project itself down the road to affecting the rotator cuff. So trying to stabilize the scapula is going to stabilize the rotator cuff. And so isolating that muscle is the challenge, because oftentimes muscles that are weak will have been substituted by other muscles, and those will dominate the message. So what I'm going to show now is an ability to isolate the serratus anterior and to reestablish that muscle as a contribution for the stability of the shoulder joint. So to isolate the motor activity of that particular muscle, the serratus anterior, you execute just a very small intention of acting as if you're going to shake someone's hand. So what you're doing is you're gently supinating and at the same time gently reaching forward. And what that does is facilitate the serratus anterior, and the patient gets a sense of the scapula being drawn in and a stretch being felt across the anterior chest. And that lets them know that they're activating the right muscle. What is helpful for a patient prior to executing that is if they just focus on the cone of this hand support. And so when you're doing that act of motion, if you can just barely turn out to the point where you feel that sharpest point of the cone come up into the palm, that actually initiates a slight spontaneous reach. And so the motor activity then is more of a reflexive level than a conscious level, and therefore more capable of reaching the weakest fibers of that motor system. What is possible then thereafter, once being assured that the serratus is active and the scapula is more stable, is a patient can then integrate the external rotators of the shoulder and go into an internal rotation and then come back out into external rotation. Reestablishing that foundational strength is essential in the higher requirements of elevations to come.
We invite you to visit our website at ueranger.com, where you can find further resources to support using the UE Ranger with your patients. You'll be able to download a clinical manual and home exercise program, as well as view the supporting research and testimonials of both professionals and patients. We'd be happy to answer any questions you might have or discuss in more detail the features of the UE Ranger Movement Health System. Please call us at 402-210-8406 or email us at rehabinnovations@cox.net. We look forward to showing you how powerful the UE Ranger can be for your patients and your practice.